Ellington Street.
We will definitely take care I know how you did that.
Yeah.
So,
look at me.
We only got, we're actually supposed to, we're like over now, but we have to make
about teachers.
Yes, ma'am.
I am an educator, and for all of you that have kids or nephews and nieces, when you go to sign up your kid, they have you sign a booklet that's about the school rules and policies, and you sign it saying you read it, but what you have actually done, and you do it twice when you give over the authority of your kid to the school. Once when you go on these little day trips and everything, and they say, and you sign it off as permission slip, read it. You have actually given legal authority for them to make decisions, medical decisions about your kid. You do not have to do that. The second thing, we're talking about homosexuality. Look at the books that are in the library in your kid's room and pull it out. Put it in reading to pull it out. And once you sign that thing saying that you read the policies, because it happened to my kid, they're supposed to ask you for permission. I went and fought for them not doing that to my kid, and they said when you signed that booklet, you gave them permission to teach your kid anything. You need to be awake, and you need to be aware, because they're slipping this crap in from K1 all the way up through, I'm a college professor, they do it everywhere.
That's right.
And they do it under sex education, they teach them how to put condoms on bananas and homosexual sex and everything as early as elementary school. So you need to be involved in these parent-side council meetings and in curriculum meetings and also in the budget meetings, and there's a referendum coming up now. You need to be awake and then stay awoke and tell your neighbors.
Yes, ma'am. So let's try to go to 8:30 and then get on out of here. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to address the issue that when you talk about homosexuality, you got to talk about the creams that you're putting on, the deodorants, lotion, hair, all those things have female hormones.
Hormones disrupting.
So they are turning the males gay that way. So we need to stop buying those products because they all got female hormones in them. That's number one. So one thing is that we are killing ourselves. And we're killing ourselves with the fork and the spoon. We're eating the things, we're putting it on our body. We gotta learn how to start growing our own vegetables, our own stuff. But we're killing ourselves on that level. And I would like to thank you for having this.
Thank you for coming. Shout out to Henry Parker. Henry Parker it works and lives in Somerville. Yeah. And he was on the front lines against those racist race soldiers out there in Somerville, even though they didn't know what Black Lives Matter means and being up there. Our brother was toe to toe, was right up on there, so I got to show love and respect to my brother. The chemical and agricultural pathway or role in homosexualization.
Now, this is in my area of expertise, specialization in sociology. But I have looked at the outcome. I see what they're doing. How do I say this? It's important that we understand that they're putting this in the food, they're putting this in the waters, they're putting this in the lotion, they're putting this into everything. I remember reading about them putting female hormones in bulls to make their meat tenderer so that it would sell better. You keep putting this stuff in the water and in the food, period, then something will happen. What I try to focus on, or to tell, so they don't get lost in this being a product of European chemicals, you have to understand that it is the cultural context, it is the society that makes this okay. That's right. That makes this behavior and the attitudes and all the rest of that okay. If you didn't have that, feminize all you wanted to, and they would possibly get beat back or be kept, wherever. Now they're coming to dominate for a reason. So you have a social and cultural context which is not just making it okay, it's promoting it.
That's right.
So they're not working independent, of each other. They are very, very, the chemicals, the food, the water, working hand in hand with little boys having lotion parties. Okay, so all of these things are working hand in hand together. So they're not separate, but you need to know as many aspects of it as possible so that you can nip it at the bud when you see it. Okay. When I was coming up, there was an effeminate male who was a good friend of mine in our neighborhood. He wasn't a fag, but he was just effeminate. And probably all of us have known a male who just was not, he didn't like to fight. The stuff that that was just him. But he was a good guy. What's going on now is that he will be put in a position of leadership. Right. He'd be put in a position of being a model. Right.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. I've learned, I don't have a good memory, but I remember names by connecting them. That's how we use our memory. And it was hard for me to learn Brother Salih's name because for the first time in the history of Akoben, we had an effeminate male there who I was not happy. But y'all convinced me that let's a manhood rub off on him. It didn't really work. But his name was Salih.
Oh, okay.
That was hard.
He was Bizarro Salih. Bizarro Salih.
So that was why it was so hard. I said, I can't make that connection right there. But it's like the society. We will get, what that does is it serves a political purpose. It takes our eyes away from Europeans. It takes our eyes away from them as the source of where this is coming from. So even though they may be producing these chemicals, it takes us away from what European politics does is they make blame something that you don't want to do, especially when blame is necessary. Okay, we forget, if you did this, then you should receive credit for that. But what we want to do is we want to play this, nobody's involved in my grandma. No, blame is appropriate. You don't rely, you can blame them. They're responsible for it being created. They're not responsible for curing it, for solving it. We're responsible for that. But you still need to know where it comes from. You absolutely need to know where things come from.
Right.
So is it atrazine?
Atrazine, yeah.
Magenta. Magenta.
Wait, question.
I want to say
Please.
okay. So I just want to say that I'm really glad that we're having these things and that everyone who has come out. It's very important to have these discussions, particularly as it relates to the children, because besides the police in this country, these homosexuals are the terrorist organization.
That's right.
They're bullies. And you cannot be afraid to speak up and speak out. Speak your piece. Say what you have to say. Be clear that this is not okay. And be clear that it goes against the laws of nature and that you're firm in your resolve. Let your children see you say this. Let your children understand that what is intrinsic to them is what is correct.
That's right.
What they are pushing on us is what is incorrect.
That's
You
right.
cannot be afraid. I'll be quick. I took my son, who's 18, down to Clark to his open house, or his new student last
Orientation.
Yeah, the orientation. Last week of June, we were in Piedmont, which I was already leery about. Wait a minute, but it was Piedmont in June. Isn't that homosexual month or gay pride month? So it was extra bad. So a sister caught my attention because our sons had the same hairstyle. And she walked around the corner, beelined for me. And we had a friendly conversation. Then she got into the hush-hush because she wasn't feeling the area. And she was like, you know what I'm saying? I said, yes, I know what you're saying. Say it. Say what you're saying. Don't be afraid to say what you have to say. Speak it. She had two handsome sons, two sons that she needed to be clear with. I'm just saying, speak it. Doesn't matter if you're speaking the unpopular truth. It doesn't matter if you're the only one in the room speaking it. Speak that stuff. Say it.
Yes, ma'am. She's talking about. to give a very special thank you and shout out to Queen Mother Melody. She was not mother, well, yeah, mother, but but she was an integral part of putting this together and bringing you, Baba Baruti, up for a conversation, this conversation, this event. So thank you. She's talking about muting, a concept called muting. We do it now. It's kind of what has been indoctrinated in us as a social courtesy. When you have some sensitive conversation, I talked about this on the Carl Nelson show with Dr. Wilson, in fact. Well, I asked her a question, but what's going on? Anyway, so muting. We mute ourselves in public when we talk about sensitive information. What's funny about black folks, especially when we talk about racism, we do it when white folks ain't around. You're scared of. We do it when white folks ain't around. I can understand you're in a restaurant with a bunch of whites around and you're talking about, oh, you motherfucking crackers. But at the same time, listen, but at the same time, when we're around each other, I do it in fire. I'm in a 90% black firehouse. We do it. Yeah. Am I lying? Now, we do it when we don't know if they're around the corner and stuff. And I just talk. And that's why I'm a pariah. But that's cool. I'll be a pariah to coons. You know what I'm saying? Straight black pride. There's a reason why I call my young lions. Do lions roll in groups? Do they roll in flocks? Do they roll in gaggles? In pride.
Right.
For a reason. We don't mute. We have this conversation. We're going to go a couple more. Yes, bro? And then we're back there. Go ahead.
Because I'm like you, I'm big on hip hop.
Yes, sir.
So earlier you said gay RX1. How did you say that?
Brother Tad, to the front, please.
I need to.
Right back to you.
Clarity.
He said, why gay
I
RX1?
need to know.
All right.
About to speak.
All right, so you're familiar with that Greek Bambaataa situation with our brother Ron Savage and Poppy, right? Plus a few others who are kind of silent about the sexual abuse.
I think a lot of people might not know.
Yeah, a lot of
All right.
They need to pay attention if they don't know by now. I mean.
Supposedly founding fathers of hip hop, known as Afrika Bambaataa, but we claim our name Africa from them, so we call them Greek Bambaataa or Bambaataa. Right? He's part of a group called Soul Sonic Force, and y'all might be familiar with his only hit that I know of called Planet Rock. So, now, it's been proven that for years he's been molesting young men. KRS-One has recently came out. Actually, KRS-One supported him from the beginning. After all of the, many of the people, not all of them, because what Brother Poppy said, over 100 at least. At least 100.